How many drummers does it take to change a light bulb?
None. You use a machine.
Oh, that's a guitar player joke.
Oh.
All right, so, but being the bass player that I pretend to be, that I am, I actually must admit that I take affront to the bass player jokes. Can you all hear me? Because okay. And the thing about bass player jokes is we get made fun of for doing our job. Like, how many bass players does it take to change a light bulb? 1, 5, 1, 5, 1. Or, there's a whole series of bass player light bulb jokes. Or the story of the little boy who got a bass for his birthday, and he started taking bass lessons, and he comes home from his first lesson, and his father said, "What did you learn today?" And he says, "Well, today I learned the first 5 notes on the E string." And his father says, "Very good." And he came back the next week from his second bass lesson, and his father said, "What did you learn today?" And he says, "I learned the first 5 notes on the A string." And the following week, the kid comes home smelling of cigarettes and beer. And his father says, "What's up?" He says, "Oh, today I had a gig." And the funny thing is, we're just doing our job. I mean, I only started playing bass after I became a mother and did the better part of raising my children. And I realized that this is what the bass player's job is. The bass player is mother. The bass player keeps house, and everybody goes off and plays and does their thing, and they come home and they have clean laundry and they have food on the table, and home is home. And that's a bass player's job. This is what we do. We keep house. And so what happens, well, actually, because this is all we do, 1, 5, 1, 4, 5 if we're lucky. For jazz musicians, we play 1, 2, 5. But then they say that we're dumb. Like the story of the bass player who's walking down the street and he sees a schnitzel on the side of the road crying. And he says, "Oh, poor little schnitzel, why are you crying?" And the schnitzel perks up right away and is all happy and all smiles and a talking bass player. And then, what happens is the bass players get tired of playing 1, 5, 1, 5. And so we start getting a little fancy and we start playing fast and we start playing high. And then we start taking solos. And then everybody starts talking. The band members leave the stage. People go out for sushi. Anyway, so this song is a song of revenge. The day was kind of sudden. Everything was low-key. Sky so overcast that you could barely see. And everything slowed down to a slower frequency. The day the bass players took over the world. They came pouring out of symphonies, orchestras and bands, and every other kind of combo that was ever known to man. And though it was spontaneous, you'd think it was quite planned. The day the bass players took over the world. And on that day, the bass players, they decided to uprise. They were tired of being sidemen to all these other guys. So they kidnapped the horn section. They put drugs in the drummer's drink. And they tied up all the guitar players with their big old flat wound strings. And on that day the world, it was finally set free. And all God's creatures interacted fretlessly. Get it? Fretless? and the air began to vibrate with such a deep tonality. The day the bass players took over the world.